So today I want to go over how you can stick to your writing schedule that you've set in the goals video and make sure you don't fall off of it. Hi, I'm Hanania Leclerc. I am a multi-genre writer who shares tips and tricks and talks about her life. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. If you've been struggling with kind of keeping your writing schedule that you might have set when we did the goals video earlier, then this video is for you because we're going to talk about how to stick to your writing schedule and give you some tips and tricks on how to best approach this. So if you're struggling to stick to your writing schedule, no need to worry. It has happened to all of us. It's discipline and life that can affect it and so many more factors that go into this. I'm here to tell you that it's gonna be okay. You don't always have to be extremely productive, and please never feel guilty. I know that's very easy to say. I always feel guilty when I don't write or when I don't do the things, but try and give yourself some credit for the things that you have done so far. And if that is nothing, then that is also okay. Let's dive into some of the things that you can do or what can potentially help you to stick to your writing schedule and really kind of get through this book. So some of the things that are kind of nice are accountability partners. So if you have someone that's going to kind of keep you accountable for writing the words that you said you were going to write, or writing the hours or spend the amount of time, whichever you're tracking, or even if you're not tracking. If, for example, you can just say, I sat down and I worked on my book, then that is great. Accountability partners can help with that. They can really kind of keep you accountable, and also having a feeling of like, okay, well, I need to tell them if I've done it, and maybe that is kind of in a way guilt tripping. If you haven't done it, you feel bad, but for me, it can kind of motivate me to be like, well, someone is waiting for me to do this, so I want to get to it. And I don't know why I need kind of that external pressure maybe to get me to do it, but it makes me kind of sit down and actually do it, even if I don't necessarily always feel like it. Sometimes sitting down and actually starting to do it is getting me into zone, and then all of a sudden it's 2 hours later and I've written so much. So that kind of leads me into the next tip or trick, however you want to call it. I would say if you've been struggling to kind of really get the motivation to do things, then just try and sit down and tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna do it for maybe 10 minutes, and just do 10 minutes. And if then it doesn't feel right for you and you're still like super unmotivated, no inspiration, then say, I've done 10 minutes. I've made progress. Even if that progress doesn't feel like a lot, you sat down and you did something. And sometimes those 10 minutes or 15 minutes or however long you want to kind of commit and say, I'm going to sit down for this amount of time, that can help you kind of transport yourself into the book and really get you excited again about the project. And sometimes it can trigger something in your brain where it's like, actually, I'm enjoying this. I'm going to keep going. I have definitely done that before, where I'm like, oh, I really just kind of not want to do anything. I don't know what I want to do. I'm just meh. And sometimes if I just sit down and kind of get to whatever task I want to do, in this case, writing the book, I will sit down, I will open my document, I will read like the last few sentences that I've written, kind of see, okay, where am I in the story, and just start writing. Even if that isn't necessarily the best work I will put out, I will start writing and kind of see, okay, let's just try and see how this goes. And usually whatever happens, something clicks in my brain after a couple minutes and I'm just in the zone and I keep going. And I don't know what that is, but somehow that helps me. If you're someone that enjoys kind of setting yourself a timer to do things, there's also different methods that you can use. So there's the Pomodoro timer, if you haven't heard of it. It's basically kind of a 25-minute timer and then a 5-minute break in between, which can kind of help you stay focused for the 25 minutes. So they're trying to tell you, you're not going to look at anything else, you're just going to do whatever you said you were going to do, and you have 25 minutes to do it. And then you take a 5-minute break and then you get back into the 25 minutes. A lot of students use this as well for like studying time, and it's also widely used in the writing community, especially in live streams, which is going to be my next suggestion. So another way to kind of have that sort of accountability and maybe even feeling like you're not in this alone can be joining live writing streams. So there are a lot of streams and a lot of author tubers that will live stream, some even on like daily bases, and you can go hang out with them in the chat. And even if you're not wanting to chat and you don't want to necessarily share what you're working on or your progress because you're like, I don't know, I'm new to this, I don't necessarily want to interact, I just kind of want to watch and see, that's also fine. You can just lurk in the background, turn it on, and hopefully that's going to help you. Basically what happens in live writing streams, or at least the ones that I've been at, is they pick a certain amount of sprinting time. So the sprinting time is really your deep focus time where you're not going to look at anything else but the task that you want to do. And a lot of people have started calling it productivity streams instead of writing streams, just because you don't always have to be writing. You can also just come along, do kind of knitting, or maybe you want to do some laundry, do some housework in that amount of time. So they're a very open community and they just want to help you be productive. So what happens is they pick a certain time where you're going to focus, and then there is kind of chatting in between. So it's interaction with the community and just kind of chilling, feeling like you're not alone in this. People celebrate each other's wins, so they usually share word count. If you're writing, they share word count of like, okay, I've got this much done, where I've written this many words, and that can help you kind of see, oh wow, I'm also doing this and I'm doing this with these people. Even if you don't know them, it can feel like a sense of community, and that is what I love about writing streams. So if you're looking for that kind of accountability, you don't really have one at the moment, come join one of the writing streams and writing sprints and stuff like that on YouTube. There's also plenty of people on Twitch if that is your preferred platform for these kind of live streams. So I will make sure to leave a link down below to a Google spreadsheet that is updated regularly by the AuthorTube community. I think Kat Leo is currently running it. So the document is updated regularly with different AuthorTubers. So there's a full list of AuthorTubers on there. If you are wondering if there's more, there's probably going to be some that you haven't even known about, but I don't know everyone because it's a long list and it's great to always find new people. So I will make sure to leave that link down below. Next to that, there's also going to be a full kind of schedule on who is streaming at what time, and there's different time zones in there, so you don't always have to convert it. And that gives you kind of an overview. If, for example, on one day you're like, okay, well, I really want a live writing stream right now, who is even online? You can go into that document and kind of see, okay, currently it's around this time, who is live streaming at the moment, and then you can join their live streams on YouTube. As we've said in kind of the goals video, you want to schedule in your time. So if you have done that and you have kind of set yourself a routine of like, I'm always going to do it at this time, and somehow it's still not really working for you, or maybe life happens and that is just time that gets lost, really try and block your time. Try and not let other things kind of take over. And I'm meaning this in the best way. I know that there's also life things that you can't control, you can't push that away, and that is going to creep into your maybe set aside time for writing. And I understand that completely. If you said, hey, Monday and Friday are going to be my writing days and I'm going to do it in the evening, for example, then if someone then asks you, hey, do you want to go out for dinner? And you're like, yeah, and skip your writing, maybe review that. If you want to really finish this book and you want to reach your goal, maybe review when you say yes and when you maybe want to say no. I was someone that very much was like, well, I also want to be productive, but I also want to be social, and I was struggling with that a little bit. So what I've done is really kind of say, okay, well, I will reserve this time for socializing and reserve this time for writing. And sometimes that might switch. Sometimes my days might switch a little bit, and sometimes I will have more time for productivity if nobody wants to be social. And sometimes I'm like, oh, there's 3 different things. Then I'm gonna make sure those 3 different blocks that I might have not spent writing, I'm gonna move them to a different day and kind of reserve that time on a different moment if I can't do it that specific day. So if your writing schedule was Monday, Friday in the evenings, and someone asks you, hey, do you want to go out for dinner? What you can either do is ask them, hey, can you do a different day this week? And if they can't, then you can say, okay, well, can I do a different day for my writing? Can I move my writing to a different day so that I still get that writing in? And block that in your calendar so that you will have that time, but maybe not in the specific day that you had it before. If you're realizing that even with all of that, you're still not really at the point where you feel like you're sticking to your writing goal, maybe just go back and review your goal. Goals you've set, but life can happen in the meantime, and that way you might not always be able to reach your goal, which is fine. So I would say maybe go back, look at your goal, maybe revise your goal and say, okay, well, I thought I was going to be able to do this in 2 months or 3 months. It's really not happening with all these life things. Maybe just extend your goal, or maybe adjust your goal and say, well, I thought I was going to be able to write every day, but it's so much and I can't do it. Give yourself some breaks in between those days that you want to write, and also give yourself some time to relax on the other days. So kind of just readjust and then see, okay, well, I used to want to do this every day. Now I feel like I probably can't. So adjust it to however many days you need that week, or however many days you think you can do, and just adjust it, and then extend your goal to however many months or weeks that you need for it to be. It doesn't have to be all in all the time. You can adjust your goals. You don't have to be disappointed if you can't necessarily reach it in the amount of time or in the period that you thought you were going to do it. It's okay. It's okay. Life happens, and sometimes it doesn't always work out the way that you had hoped, and that is fine. So you can just readjust it. And I know that's easy to say, but just see where you've gotten so far. Take that and then see where you want to get. And then use that last bit of like, okay, well, this is still what I want to do. Then readjust that goal to say, okay, well, how much time would I need, or how many words do I need, or how much would that kind of be if I wanted to do it in less days a week? How long would that then take me? And then just readjust your goal. And the same thing that I said in the goals video, have a good, better, best goal, so that even if you wanted to reach your best goal, it's not happening right now, then adjust it to, like, you know, a good goal. If you're reaching your good goal, then you're still crushing it because you're going for something that you want. And even if that is not the best goal at the moment, because life happens and things happen, that is fine. You can readjust your best goal. You can extend your best goal. It's all good. I know you've got this, and I just want to say I support you throughout your journey. If you have any things that you want to share with me, if you want some more tailored, hey, you got this motivation, just let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to motivate you. I'd be happy to be there for you and give you some kind of feeling like you're not in this alone, because you're not. There's a lot of us that struggle with this, and a lot of us that don't necessarily always reach our goals. So, you know, you have got this, and I believe in you. If this is something that you want to do, you're gonna find the time, you're gonna make the time, you're gonna do this, and I have faith in you. If this video was helpful to you, please consider leaving a like and a comment, maybe even subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in the next installment of this series, and I will make sure to be leaving it linked right here.